What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is indeed Wednesday, which means the Crew 2 Summit also reset. For this week, we're going to have the Rabbids Party of Legends. With that is going to give us the Chilling Rabbids tire. Funny thing is, that's actually one of the coolest epic tires I have ever seen. Can't wait to see how that thing's actually going to look on some of the cars in the game. We're also going to have ourselves a Scorebreaker Booster set for the Monster Truck category. Definitely worth getting, by the way, guys. I would recommend going after it. We're then going to get a Lightspeed Underglow as a rare reward, which is kind of hilarious because, well, in the Crew Motorfest, we're actually getting blue rewards as a platinum thing, and we're actually getting similar things in the silver reward that we were get as a platinum in Motorfest. Doesn't really make that much sense. But the next summit, though, is going to be the Porsche Cayman GT4 Wasp Edition. If you guys don't have this car, I would recommend going after it. I've loved this thing. It's also going to be a pretty fun summit. I did really enjoy this one. There's a powerboat race, a touring car, hypercar, two rally raid, then a street race. Like, I really did enjoy this summit. I would recommend doing it. Besides that, we're going to have the Demons Unleashed, which is, of course, going to be a Halloween type of summit. Then we have the Dallas run bringing us a full Rally Raid Nitro Chemist set. Definitely worth having if you guys do not have one. Besides that, though, jumping into the summit, I would say a lot of players are going to enjoy this one, even though I would say many players might look and go, well, it's just going to be a tire. Probably don't care too much for it, but to be honest, I really do enjoy the summits in the Crew 2 so much that, well, even if the rewards on these might be kind of odd if players don't like them, even if the rewards are a bit on the weird side, they're still going to be a tad better than Motorfest, I have to admit it. But besides that, though, looking at the summit right now, guys, we're going to have a buoy, smashing, and escape, and a slalom for these skills. I would say for the most part, they're going to be fairly simple to do. For the buoy smashing, all you'll have to do is basically pick a boat of your choice. Now, for me, though, I did actually use a Vector V40R to where you can also use something like a 1414 Demon. Either boat is going to be a great option. Besides that, we're then going to have an escape for this one. Well, to be honest, guys, I would say it's going to be a tad mix. Like, you can use a Hypercar, you could use an Alpha GP, but I have to admit, I did enjoy using an Alpha GP a tad more. For me, I did end up using the Proto Concept Pulse Performance. You're most likely going to be seeing the Alpha Mark II being used pretty often because that is easily one of the best Alpha GP cars in the game. I got around 5,600 yards, which is fairly decent. Isn't going to be the best by any means, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go insane in this one. Let's take the 5,600 yards and move on. Besides that, we're then going to have a slalom. Now, for this, you could basically run any vehicle choice that you actually would like. You can run hypercar, street race, a rally raid, a rally cross. As long as you actually have a score breaker, you will be good to go on this one. For me, though, I did use a Ducati Panigale. I love the touring bikes in this game, so I really do like the way they feel with a score breaker. You can legitimately get maxed out points every single time you do them. Besides that, though, we're then going to have a monster truck event, so for this, it's no restriction. For me, I actually did end up using the Ford Mustang GT. I love this thing. I would actually say it's probably one of the faster monster trucks in the game, at least with the testing I have done, so I would recommend trying this thing out. Now, for this, though, I would actually recommend a few things, and this can go for both of the events, including this one. This is also going to be a no restriction monster truck race as well. For these guys, I would recommend being careful using your nitrous constantly with them. Like, try to accelerate a bit, specifically on the top event. There is going to be jumps and stuff, so having ventilated or at least having your icon points on it is definitely going to be worth doing so you get more nitrous when you're jumping. It actually helps so dang much in these events. I would also recommend trying not to spam your nitrous when the truck's being a tad slower, like when you're jumping and stuff. It's going to help a bit, but you also lose a lot of nitrous, which in return can actually make you slower on the other parts of the events. Now, for the next events here in the summit, though, we're going to have a street race here with the Nissan GTR Nismo. I have to say right now, I really do like this car, guys. It handles great, it's fast, it's easily one of my favorites. I actually have been using this car for a minute in many different events, and I would definitely recommend trying this thing out. Like, it's legitimately that good. Now, for the Year of the Tiger race, though, there's a few things you might want to know. There's a lot of cuts in this race, so definitely keep an eye out for the turns having them because you can miss it, and they will definitely make you a lot faster. Overall, though, I would say that event is probably going to be fairly simple, and luckily the Nissan GTR is incredibly good for it. And then for the next street race, though, we are going to have to use the Porsche 928 S4. Now, this is going to be the gates of Chinatown, so it's going to be a fairly short event. And on top of that, there's going to be a lot of tight turns and stuff in this race, but luckily the 928 is actually going to be a pretty decent street car. Now, I'm sure people are going to be like, well, is it that great? Like, would you use it on everything? To be honest, man, you know what? I would actually try this car out on other races. Is it going to be breaking world records and stuff like that? Well, I mean, probably not, but at least the car is still going to be fairly usable. Now, on the gates of Chinatown, though, I would recommend being careful when you actually go into the corners, because that is going to determine so much on the tighter ones on how fast you can actually be in this event. The next one, though, is going to be a hypercar race that's no restriction. For me, I did end up picking the Bugatti Divo. Now, I do understand the Chiron Super Sport is probably going to be a better option because it's so dang quick, but the Bugatti Divo is still going to be a great car overall, especially with how great this thing handles and its overall speed. Sure, the Super Sport's going to be a tad faster, but you know what? Sometimes in these events, guys, getting around 3 or 4 seconds faster for an extra 1,000 points is just honestly not worth it. And then the last event here is going to be a Jetsprint race. For this, I did end up using the Proto rocket. I love this thing, and I would say this race is probably going to be fairly easy to do. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tight corners. You can hit rocks and stuff, I would know because I ran into them. But luckily, once you keep practicing, you'll actually be a lot faster. I would also recommend using the rocket, man. Like, this is easily the best jet sprint boat in the game, without a doubt in my mind. Overall, though, if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. I would say the Rabbids Party of Legends is actually going to be a pretty fun summit to do, with a pretty nice mix of events it does have in it. I really do enjoy seeing Monster Truck, Jet Sprint, then seeing Hypercar, Streetcar, and stuff like that. Like, it's so dope. I love the big variety in these summits.